Today, we're building a delivery warehouse using the Create mod. This build will focus more on aesthetics than practicality, featuring this horse here and a nice loading dock for items. I'm Uberswe, and this is build 23 of my 30-day Create mod build challenge, where I do 30 different builds, with each build taking no more than one real-life day, and each build has to fit inside this 25 by 25 plot. I also make sure that my builds are survival friendly and work with the base Create mod. These builds should work for older versions of Create as well as the current 6.0 version, and they'll most likely keep working in future versions too. So here we have some train track, and here we have a horse. What we're going to do now is we're going to build our horse and carriage. So we're going to put down a train station right here. I'm going to put it a little bit further away from the track just so I have enough room in case I need to assemble a large structure. Now here we're going to click on create new train, and then we can take our train casing. We'll place one right here. And on top of this, I want to place a brown seat just like so. And then in front of that, we're going to place our train controls just like so. And don't worry about this gap here. We're going to be able to connect this with glue later, even though they're not like actually connecting here visibly. It will still work. We can take our horse by right-clicking on our horse with the lead and then right-clicking on the seat on the train. This is going to be our horse that is going to control our horse and carriage. And now I know it's above ground, but we're going to move all the train track and everything 2 blocks below ground, and the horse will be at ground level, and it will look like it's kind of pulling the carriage. Now, for the actual carriage, we're going to go back here and we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks, and then we're going to place the next boogie right here. Oh yeah, I saw your comments that it's called boogie, bogey. I don't even know, but we're going to call them boogies. All right, these are train boogies, right? All right, so we have our train boogie here, and then I'm going to build a platform on top of this, just like so. We probably don't want it all the way there. Here, maybe. That, yeah, that's how far I'm going to have it. Then we'll go back a little bit here, just like so. And that's going to be like our platform for our carriage. And of course, our carriage needs some actual wheels. So we're just going to do this. We're going to put 2 wheels here and another 2 wheels here. And then up top here, I am going to use spruce trapdoors here. Oh, actually don't need any there. But basically, I'm just going to put them on the outside edge like this and then flip them up. So I'm placing some on the inside just so I can get this edge here and place the other trapdoors on top of it like so. Just like so. And we flip these up. And now we kind of have like a little carriage area. And then I'm probably going to put some here on the inside and flip them up. But I'm going to leave like a full block space here just so we can have a seat for our I don't know what you call it in a carriage driver, chauffeur. No, I don't know. I can't English today. I don't know what's wrong with me. Then to kind of connect our horse to the actual carriage, we're going to use some spruce fence gates here. Kind of looks like it's connected to the horse. I know this isn't going to be like perfect, but this is as close as it gets. I think you could put the train controls like up here instead, but then we have the issue of the horse not facing forwards. So the horse is going to be the actual driver of the train that will make the horse face forward as it's driving. Otherwise, you'll have a horse that's like flipped around backwards like this all the time. Previously, I tried using the villager up here as the driver, which also works. So you could do this and then put the train controls on top of that, but I prefer it like this. Now we are going to make this carriage a little bit practical. It's actually going to be able to store items, but we want a portable storage interface right here. And you want this part here to like be facing out, because then later we can add another portable storage interface like this, and they will actually connect through the trapdoor. So that's how we're going to be able to export and import items into our carriage. And then I'm going to go ahead and decorate with a few barrels. So we're just going to place them in different orientations here. We'll place a barrel up there, so now it's hidden, but these barrels will actually function as storage. We'll throw in a kelp block right here. We'll put a mechanical arm there. We'll throw in a pot up here, and we're also going to place like a couple of more seats here, just so, you know, we can have our friends and stuff like sitting in the back here if we all want to ride around the little 30-day area here and just enjoy the scenery. Or maybe we'll end up catching a bee on the seat. Come on, bee, go on the seat. That would be perfect if I had a bee as a driver. Come on. Okay, we got a bee as our driver. Well, actually, our horse is our driver, but the bee will be our fake driver. Well, now that we built everything, we need to glue it all together. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our train controls here and the seat, and we just want to glue those two together like so. And then we'll glue the actual train carriage or the bogie to the seat here. And then we're going to take the spruce fence gate, glue that all the way back like so. We're going to do the same thing on this side like so. Notice that I'm not overlapping this glue with the glue of the seat. They're like two separate squares and they should not overlap. We want these to be two separate carriages, so that's important. Then here, we're just gonna glue all of these like spruce. Now, we should have everything glued together. And we can go ahead and try to see if it works by clicking assemble train here. And if everything's successful, you will get this, like it will just show that you have a train. You should be able to right click on the train controls here and you can go back and forwards. And we see that everything is sticking together. So we successfully glued our train, and we can also see that the horse is actually changing direction depending on the direction of the carriage. So now our horse is actually always going to be facing forward as long as the train is going in a forward direction. Space is going to be a little bit tight here, but basically what I did is I made the track go down underground. So this is going to be the level where all our track is going to be. And then I just kind of built a track that would follow the roads here. And the idea is that the track will actually be underground here, like just one layer under. And it will look like we have a horse and carriage that's actually like kind of moving on its own without seeing the train. So if we, oh no, no. I did not mean to touch the horse. Okay, we're gonna right click our train controls. Oh, the problem is I can't move after right clicking the train controls. Yeah, this is difficult. I'm trying to reach the train controls without touching the horse. It's easier said than done. There we go. Okay, so now we're controlling our train contraption. And if we go forward, it should go down here. This going down part is only like now as we're setting it up. After that, we'll never have to do any kind of elevation change or sloping. Hopefully this turn, it's also a little bit too harsh. So yeah, we're gonna have to like, we're gonna have to mess with the turning a bit to make it smoother. But basically, here you can see the concept. So all you'll be able to see is the horse with the controls. So the controls are kind of immersion braking. But you can see the horse is just sitting on a seat and he's gonna be driving this carriage, which is also gonna be at ground level here. So you can see like the wheels are gonna be on the ground like that. So that's how it's going to work. So I'll go ahead and I'll kind of tweak the track a bit to make it a little bit smoother. We might have to get rid of some of these lights and stuff just to make room for this. Yeah, I'll be back in a little bit once I have this set up. Okay, so I've taken some time to readjust the track and it should now be good to go. So let's give it a try. I have a schedule here in my hand that should take us around the track. So let's go ahead and give our schedule to our horse here. And whoops, we can now have a seat. Oh god, this is much faster than I thought it would be. Oh wow. Oh, this is kind of scary. So as you can see, it's still a train. And now the speed should be limited to 20%. I want it to seem kind of realistic. Okay, if a player is seated, it should wait 5 seconds and then it should go. And now we should be stuck at 20%. 20% might be a little bit too fast actually, but yeah, it's kind of working. The turns are smoother. It's not perfect, but yeah, we kind of have a horse and carriage. A horse and carriage with a bee. Can you believe it? All right, on to the next thing. Now, one thing that will really help with the functionality of this build is that you can put a comparator on a station like this. And now when there's a train at the station, this comparator here will give off a redstone signal. So as our horse and carriage arrives, you'll see that it's now going to give off a redstone signal. And with that, we'll be able to build some logic for our delivery warehouse. Now I built up a little platform here and I put an encased chain drive like this and then a belt like this. And then just for decorational purposes, I'm going to put 2 metal girders on either side like this. And then we're going to put a portable storage interface right here in the middle like this, and it's going to be facing outwards towards the train. And this is actually going to connect with our train in order to offload items. On top of that, we're going to put an andesite funnel. And then I believe, can we change these somehow? Maybe like this? Yeah, so shift and right click. And then we can change the look of those to be more like a beam holding the portable storage interface like that. And then we want to glue this entire thing. So glue the bottom here. And then we'll go ahead and glue the top like so. This entire front can be glued as one thing. We do need to make sure that the belt is glued down, as well as the funnel. Oh, nothing is connected. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, we'll fix the glue. But you can see now that these are going to connect here, like so. And if we get rid of our glue, so we'll get rid of this glue, and we'll just glue from here down into the ground like that. We should be good. Hopefully this funnel will stick to the contraption. I think it will. And now we're going to place a mechanical bearing here. And then we're going to place a copper valve handle right here. And we're going to change this to 180. We'll automate this later, but basically what I want is like when the train is gone like it is now, I want this to just flip back into the ground like this. So you don't see anything up here. This will just be like a plain walkway. And when the train arrives, we'll flip this out of the ground, probably the opposite way. So we'll flip it out of the ground like this, and then we'll have another belt that like slides into this and gives this power. And that will be like a fancy way of delivering packages to our warehouse. Now for the belt that extends and retracts, I will put a shaft here and another shaft here, and then we just put a belt between them, and then we're going to go 1, 2 back. And that's going to be the distance of our belt. Then we're going to put a sticky mechanical piston like so. And you want to make sure that this green sticky part is facing this belt here. If you need to, you can rotate it. And then we can glue our belt just like so. Then put 3 piston pulls like so. And our vault is going to go on top of our belt right here. And we're going to make this 3 by 3 by something. I don't know how wide I want to make it yet. So we're just going to leave it as a 3 by 3 by 3 just for demonstration purposes. And then we're going to put a brass funnel right here. So this is actually going to pick up items from this belt and they're going to go into the vault. Oh, and I almost forgot. We can also decorate our belts with brass casing here. I think it looks a little bit better for this build. It's a bit more expensive, but we don't actually use any brass casing to do the decoration. So this is like free decoration here. And then we can use a copper valve handle here. And I don't know, I'll set it to 180. So now we turn it there. It's going to go 1 block. Basically, we'll power this when we're actually using it. But you can see that it's going to go all the way out and connect. It might look a little bit weird with these things on top of here because of the way we put the casing. I think we can like right click to remove those and maybe put them back, but I think that top is going to come back whenever it goes in and like place this inside again. But yeah, basically that's the gist of it. So we're gonna push it out. When the train arrives, this will flip up. We'll push this out. We'll activate the belt so it's actually rotating. We'll extract all the items, and then when the station turns off again, we'll retract this and then flip this back over. For this build, we're going to need some power. So I'm going to go ahead and place a water wheel right here in the hole that I've dug. And we're going to place a water bucket just down here somewhere in the hole and hope that it works. There we go. And then we're going to place a rotational speed controller right there with a large cogwheel. And now with this setup, we can actually control how fast we want things to go. So we could go super fast, or we probably want to go a more reasonable, I don't know. We probably want to go a more reasonable 32 RPM. And then I'm going to take a gearbox right here, and we're just going to connect this over like so. And then we're going to place one gearbox here, and we'll place another gearbox here. And then we're going to have a sequence gear shift right here. This sequence gear shift allows us to set up a bunch of different settings here where we can configure how we want this to run. So we'll give this a redstone signal, and it can like turn forward, it can turn backwards, it can have a time delay, all kinds of fun stuff. So we're going to get back to these later, but that's why we're having them here. We're going to have another shaft here with another sequence gear shift. And then here, we're going to place an encased chain drive that goes down right here. And we're going to place a shaft down here. And this is going to come up and power our mechanical bearing here using another encased chain drive, just like so. And then over here, we need some power for our belt. And our belt is always going to be powered. So we're just going to go over here. And we're going to place a gearbox right here. And then we're going to place an encased chain drive right here. Now we can see this is actually going the wrong way because we want to receive items here. So what we can do, the rotation doesn't really matter for the rest of our setup. So we can go ahead and change this to the opposite rotation using the speed controller. And now we can see that the belt is actually rotating the correct way. Now to kind of test and experiment with our sequence gear shifts, we can just use a button. So I'm going to place a button right here, and then we can go into our sequence gear shift, and we want to set this to turn to move piston or pulley or gantry. And we need to move 3 meters in one direction. And then we're going to wait a new redstone pulse here. And then for this next one, we're going to have turn to move piston, pulley, gantry once again. And we're going to have 3 meters, but the opposite way right here. And now we can go ahead and test this. So we click the stone button here, and you can see that it goes out. It does power our belt over there. And it's currently in a mode where it's awaiting a new redstone pulse. So if we go ahead and go back here and we click the button again, we can see that it goes back. Later, these two sequence gear shifts, they can go out of sync. So if one of them is out of sync, you can go ahead and just come back here and press the button, and that will like get them back into sync. If one is, if this is like flipped up when the train isn't here, for example, you could just come back here and flip it back. So to be able to flip this, we can go in here. And now we want to turn 180 degrees one way. And then here we want to set await new redstone pulse. And then we want a time delay on this one. I don't know how long, maybe 6 seconds, we'll see. And then we're going to turn by angle once again by 100 degrees or 180 degrees. And we're going to turn the opposite way, just like so. And now if we press the button here, we can see that it turns. And if we press it again, nothing happens. Oh yeah, because it's awaiting the 6 seconds. So now it turns back again. However, it's turning the wrong way. I want this to turn the opposite way. So we're just going to flip these 2 arrows. We flip. We wait for the new redstone pulse. Then we wait 6 seconds. And now we turn back again. Now I actually want this to start in the down position. So we actually need this to turn another 180 degrees here, just so we can like set it to the correct angle here. So just for this demonstration, we're going to turn it a full 360. And then we'll go ahead and remove that, just set it to end again. Now for our redstone, we want 2 types of pulses. So we want a pulse when the train first arrives. So I'm going to use this pulse repeater here, because what that is going to do is like whenever we get a redstone signal, it's only going to pulse 1 time. And it also has a small delay to it as well. When the train leaves, I want to trigger another signal. To do that, we're just going to reverse the signal by having a redstone torch here. Basically, when this redstone up here is powered, so if it's powered like this, then this is unpowered. And when this is unpowered, this is powered. So from that, we can get another redstone signal here, and we can go ahead and put another pulse repeater just like so. And we can put these at the same place just so that it's like a little bit more organized here. And then we're going to bring this together into the same signal. Whenever I place a redstone torch here, you can see we get a pulse up here, and whenever I remove it, we get another pulse. So there you go. That's basically what we're doing right there. Now, this redstone signal has to go to this sequence gear shift and this sequence gear shift. Here, we're actually going to go into the block here, and that's going to be able to allow us to continue with our redstone here. And I'll remove that button for the time being. And then we can also go up on top of this pulse repeater or the sequence gear shift, just like this. And then we can also go over here, go down this way, and end up on top of this. This should actually work. So they should move at the same time if everything is set up correctly. Let's see. Hey, that's pretty good. And then we'll give it some more time and we'll see if the same thing happens when the train leaves. Okay. The delay here was a little bit too long, I think. So we're probably going to switch this to, let's see, we could probably switch this to like 3 seconds instead. And I'm not sure I like the direction that it's moving. So maybe let's flip this again and we'll see how it is. All right, horse is coming back. Let's see the way it flips now. Okay, I like it. That looks pretty good. Okay, the flipping back is still a little bit slow, so we just need a short delay so that it doesn't like collide. So we'll put that at 1 second and hopefully that will actually make it work. But I think the rotation and everything is correct now. So let's move on to the next part. We have actually covered all of the technical parts for this. So I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit of building and decorating with a house around this build. And then we'll be back to do a full tour. If you just ignore the fact that our horse here is making steam engine noises, then I think it's fairly immersive, this horse and carriage ride. So we stop at our station back here. I built this little house here, you know, just did a little bit of decorating. I used scoria for the first time ever. Oh yeah, and if we put some items in our barrel back here, like so, we should see that they now get unloaded here. There you go. Our items. Oh, well, that horse and carriage left fairly quickly. But yeah, we had some items get unloaded here. I think our schedule is set up to like leave after 5 seconds if a player is seated. So that was a little bit quick. But when it comes back, I'll record it again. Meanwhile, we can go and check out the inside. So here we have like a little birch door, and inside you have a huge vault. So we have, I think it's a 3x3x9 actually, and you can flip this lever here and you can take stuff out. The vault can have anything in it, and you could hook this up with the new Create 6.0 stuff. I haven't done so in my build because I kind of want this to be backwards compatible all the way back to Create 5.0. So for backwards compatibility, I haven't done so, but you definitely could. So we'll flip this off just so we don't have a bunch of items trying to unload here. And if you wanted like stacks of items, you could just do this and then you would stand here and then like items would like pop out on top of you. So that's like the fast extract. You also have some water here. I thought it was a nice decoration. I guess it also, gives you an infinite water source if you should need it. And then, yeah, just some of the Create iron or the ornate iron window pane from Create. And then up here, you could have like a little office or something, where you do all the administrative work for your, deliveries and whatnot. So yeah, that's pretty much it of this build. I added a bunch of like little decorative things out here to make it look like it was actually being used, for storage. And oh yeah, now we can look at our frog ports. So let's see. Kissy kissy. And then we have unloading. And there you go. It's unloading into our vault. And I guess I'll do that for 30 seconds. I could probably change my schedule so that it like waits for the unload to have completed, but that will be something we have to implement another day. I think we're going to go ahead and end it here. Well, this is awkward. To everyone still watching, thank you. If you enjoyed this video, do give it a like and consider subscribing if you'd like to see more of my content. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.